So in the last class, we continued our discussion on list. We actually started with how to access the existing items in a list. So we have looked at the ways of using the index and the negative index to access individual items that are stored in an existing list. There is actually another way, which we have actually looked at while discussing about strings, which is basically using the slicing operator. So as we have discussed in string, the slicing operator can actually be used in the similar way to access multiple items or multiple entities stored in a list. Now here, this can be a string or the representation of a string, as well as it can be a list, because as we said, as we have discussed in the last class, the way list and strings are handled, they are kind of similar. There are certain differences. We will be discussing one of the major differences in around 5 minutes. But for the time being, so if this is a list, so in the 0th index, P is stored, in the 1th index, R is stored, and so on. So basically, programming is stored in a list. And if we initialize, or if we initialize a string with programming, the way we will be able to handle the individual items in that list, in that string, that is the individual characters in that string, is similar to the way we can actually access the list items. Now coming back to the slicing operator, or how we can actually handle them, how we can actually access multiple items using slicing operator. Now here I have actually named this as str1, but note that it is not actually a string. It is a list of strings. So a string can be, say, s equals to in quote programming. But here str1 is not actually a string. It is a list, and the individual item in that list are strings. As you can see, P, R, O, and so on. Now here, the first print statement, what it is doing, what I have written is, I have mentioned the name of the list, in this case, which is str1, 2:5, which will be accessing the items 3rd, 4th, up to the 5th. So 2 to 5 I have mentioned from this to this. So it will be basically printing OGR. Similarly, we can use the negative indexing in this slicing operator as well. If we do not mention anything for the beginning, it will be default considered from the beginning, that is 0. -1 is basically the 4th item from the right, or 4th item from the end. So it will be printing from P to M. Basically, it will be printing program. Similarly, if we only mention the starting and kind of left the ending empty, then it will be by default be considered as the ending of the string. In this case, list, not string, in this case, list. So in this case, str15 is basically will be starting from here, and it will be going up to G. Now, another way, as we have already seen, if we want to access everything, we can just, of course, we can, just use the str1, which will be printing everything. Using the slicing operator, we can just, left the starting as well as ending as empty. Now let's look at those using some program. So this is the list. Note that this is not actually a string, but I have named it str1 just to give you the feeling that the naming is not actually important. But as I said, naming is important from the point of view of understanding the problem. So from that point, str1 is not actually a very good naming. We should be using something regarding L or list, which will be actually indicating that this parameter, this variable is actually of type list. Now, just to ensure, the type of str1 is actually list. Now, as I said, this will be printing from O to R. This will be from, from P2, from the starting up to this fourth item, which is this, it will be printing program. Now this will be printing from fifth, which is basically from A to G up to the ending, and this will be printing everything. If I just execute this, you can see OGR, basically 2, 3, 4, from 0 to up to this, that is program, PROGRAM. Then this third one is actually starting from the fifth location, which is A, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5, up to the ending G. And the last one, which is basically an empty slicing operator, which is equivalent to just having print str1. So now if I print, you can see both of them are printing exactly the same output. This is the way of using the slicing operator to access the individual items stored in an existing list. Now, I want to guess, I want you to guess what will be the output of this. So starting from -1, going up to -5 in steps of -1. Now here I haven't used the step in any of these examples, but of course, as we already know, the step is by default considered as 1. We can of course change that. Now what will be the output of this? So we'll be starting from the end, we'll be going up to this, so basically this, so it will be printing GNIM. Let's just check it out. Print str1 -1 colon -5 colon -1. It has printed GNIM. So let's check GNIM. So up to this -5th location. So the next operation associated with a list is changing items which are already stored in a list. Now there are number of ways of doing that. One of the most prominent way of doing that is using the assignment operator. So let's consider we have a list called prime list, which is containing the value 2, 3, 4, 7, 11, some integers. And now we want to change the item which is stored in the 2th location, that is the third item. I want to change it from 4 to 5. So what we need to do is we just need to write the name of the list, and in third bracket we need to mention the index value, in this case 2, because I want to change the third item. So that's why 2. And 5, it will be actually printing, basically the new list will be becoming 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. And we can of course use the slicing operator here as well, again using this assignment operator. So here I am mentioning from here 1 to 3, so 1 to 4, so basically second to fourth item. So second to fourth item. So these 3 items will be replaced by these 3 items, right? So the resulting list will be 2, then 13, then 17, then 23, then 11. Let's just try that. I have assigned this prime list. Let's just print the prime list as well. As you can see, it is containing 2, 3, 4, 7, 11. If we want to change the third item, so this item, I've mentioned print list 2. So note that it is not changing 2. It is changing the item stored in the location 2, right? So it is actually making this list to this 2, 3, 4, 7, 11, changing it to 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. And if I want to change multiple elements, this is the slicing operator application. Again, as I have said, this is changing, basically this is consideration, and they are being replaced by these 3 elements. So that's why you can see this second, third, and fourth location items, which were respectively 3, 4, and 7, has been replaced by 13, 17, and 23. Now, so far, yes, question.
In this way, can we increase the number of items in the list as well, or decrease the number of items?
The number of items we can of course increase by using the append operator to if we want to add some new items. But your question, I got your question. It's a very nice one. I actually wanted you to try this at your end, but let's see. So for the time being, so I hope you can see my screen. So let's print the print list, prime list. So it is containing 2, 3, 2, 13, 17, 23, 11. Now, here we know that this is considering the second, third, and fourth item. So this is basically specifying 3 items, right? And I am specifying 3 items here. Now, I guess your question is, if I mention or if I provide more than 3 items here, what will be happening? Right? So at present, prime list is containing this 5 values, 5 numbers. 2 in the 0th location, then 13, 17, 23, and 11. These are the 5 items stored in the location 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I have mentioned, so we have already used this slicing operator here to replace 3 items. 1:4 is actually indicating 3 items. Those 3 items are replaced by these 3 items. Now, what if I have mentioned more than 3 items here? Or in general, if I specify or if there is a mismatch between the number of items I am specifying in the left hand side of this equals to and with the right hand side. If I execute, you can see it's actually working. So it is actually squeezing things. Note that there was a slight connection drop, I guess. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So note that here there were 3 items, 13, 17, and 23. These 3 items I am replacing with 13, 17, 23, and 29. So I am replacing 3 items with 4 items, and note that these 3 locations are being replaced by these 4 items. Earlier, 11 was present in the 4th location, right? Now it is in the 5th location. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We can also, if I want to, so now it is containing 6 elements. Now let's try what will be happening. So let's try to do that. So replace these 3 with these 2. What will be happening? So basically there is one drop of element. So earlier it was containing 13, 17, and 23. 13, 17, and 23 is being replaced by 23, 29. So that's why basically there is one drop. So basically there are 2 29s because this 29 is the existing one which was present earlier. And here there were 3 elements, 18 and 23. These 3 items have been replaced by these 2 items. So that's why there are 2 29s here. Glad that you asked, but actually I planned on giving this as an exercise. You get that answer, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay, great. Now coming back to the example or the situation where there is a difference in the way strings and lists are handled or handled by the Python interpreter. Now, as we have discussed, a list containing a string, a set of strings, and a string containing the same statement is actually handled in the similar way. So this LST is containing a space string space in space Python, and this S1 string is containing the same thing, a string in Python. Now, if we want to access them, we can of course use the index value or the negative index value to access the individual items in this list or the individual characters stored in this string, right? Now, if we want to access the string here, the string part is from here. So what we need to do? So basically, we can use the slicing operator from 2 to 8. So that will be considering all the items from 2 to 7, and we can actually access them. So let's try that. I am just initializing the same two things. So let's just print the LST as well as print S1. So LST is containing a string, the same thing here, a string in Python, individual characters as items. Here S1, which is a string, is containing the same value. Now, if we want to access, or if we want to access only this part, string, in both S1 from both LST, that is list, and S1, which is a string, what we can do is we can use the slicing operator in the similar way. So LST in third bracket 2:8. This will be S1 with 2:8. This will be also printing the string from here, right? And this string has been printed from taking the individual characters from here. Okay. Now let's try to, so we have already replaced items in a list, right? We have already replaced or changed some items in a list using the slicing operator. Now let's try to do that here. So let's change this string to list. So I want this statement, a string in Python, to be replaced into a list in Python. So let's do both using, in both list as well as the string, LST as well as is in S1. So basically in list, what we can do, we can simply use the operator, the slicing operator, in the similar way that we have done earlier. So LST 2:8. What we need to provide is, we basically 2 to 8 is containing this. We need to provide a list which will be containing capital L, as I have said here, capital L with list with capital L, capital I, small I, small s, and small t. So although there are 6 items here, string, it will be being replaced by 4 items, as we have already seen that this is also possible using this slicing. So now, if I print LST, earlier LST was containing a string in Python. Now it is containing a list list in Python, right? So what we are doing is, we are basically, the way we were printing LST 2:8, we are just replacing that, using the equals to operator here or assignment operator here in the same way, right? Let's try to do that on strings as well. So what we need to do is, we need to provide, so basically we need to provide list here. So can we do that? The answer is no. We change a list. We cannot change a string. In the similar way, a list can be changed. So this will be actually an error. Let's break it up. So at present, print is, S1 is containing a string in Python. If I want to change, say, the say this capital S to say capital L, although it's not actually making any sense. Can we do something like S, say, so this S is in the 2th location, right? Sorry. If I try doing this, it will be again an error, which is a type error. Now let's look at the error carefully. It is saying type error, str object does not support item assignment. But wait a second. We have already initialized so many strings with this assignment, right? Right? Then what's the problem with this? The problem with this is this S1 is already initialized. And here what we are doing is we are considering only one item, or in more formally, one character in this existing string. Here we are declaring a new string altogether. Every time I'm writing something like this, if I again write another, say S equals to DEF, we know that if I print S, it will be printing DEF. Every time I'm writing some statements like this, I'm declaring a new string altogether, a new string variable altogether. But here what I am doing is I'm kind of accessing and modifying, manipulating an individual character in an existing string, which is not supported in this language. So that's why you can see the error, which is saying type error, str object does not support item assignment. So this is a big difference between strings and list. I actually wanted to highlight this because from the beginning of discussion on this list, I kind of compared every single operation that we are doing in list. I have actually compared them with the corresponding operation in string. So this is a difference between the way strings and lists are handled or strings and lists are manipulated. The bottom line, again, just to recap, strings cannot be manipulated, but list can of course be manipulated. Formally, these are called mutability of a data type. List is mutable data type and string is immutable data type. Now, what is this mutable and what is this immutable? Although we have discussed already what is mutable, as you can already understand, mutability is something where an existing data type, existing variable can be changed, like list. Immutable data types are those where if we declare one thing, it cannot be changed. Now you can actually ask me that I'm declaring S here and initializing with ABC. Now I am again using that same S and initializing with another literal. Let me tell you, this is not actually modification. This is actually creating a new S. A new S altogether. Now, although it might seem a little bit hard to understand, but let me show you one thing. How to actually check whether a variable is actually identical to another variable or not. So there is a function called ID, which is the short form of identity. If I specify the name of a variable here, it will be returning a large integer. And this integer is specifying at what location roughly, I mean, it's not actually the only thing, but it's actually saying where exactly this object is located in the memory. Now, after performing this, so now S is containing DEF. ABC, I have checked the ID, it is something ending with 256. Now I have used the same variable name S. Now I want to show you that this S and this S are two different S's. So if I check the ID, it will be different. As you can see, it was something or the other ending with 256. It is something or the other. Some parts are same, but it is actually different. But if I again initialize this with ABC, let's check what will be the ID again of S. You can see we are getting the same ID here. 139706481798256256. So this is and this is identical. Of course, they are identical. But here, this is entirely a new variable. So there is no relation between this and this. Of course, we already know that because at a time we can actually have only one S. The latest S will be considered, right? Now, this, of course, if we execute this, then there is no existence of this S. So this is actually formally called mutability and immutability. For mutable data types, once we declare a list, let's declare a list, say L equals to containing, say, A, and print L, and together with that, say, let's print the ID of L. The ID is this. Now what I'm doing is, I am appending L dot append, say, B. L, it will be printing, sorry. Oh, sorry, it's actually list. It's actually string. I mistakenly have done that. So this is actually, now it is a list, right? Now the ID is this. Now if I append B, now it is containing A and B. Now, if I print the ID, as you can see, they are same. But earlier it was containing only A. Now it is containing A and B, but they are actually the same IDs. So they are actually the same L. The way mutable data types handle the individual items stored in them. So during the whole lifetime of this L, this ID will be kept constant. Now, if I change, if I again use another L, say, if I redefine L with, say, something, say, 1, 2, 3. Now, if I print the ID of L, it will be different. As you can see, it's different. So now what I am doing is I am declaring an entire a new list altogether. But earlier I was just modifying or appending a new item in this existing list. So in one word, mutable data types, the existing mutable, the variables declared of mutable data types can be actually modified. But for immutable data types like string, we cannot actually change them. So mutability, again, formally, in mutable data type, the mutable objects, as we have discussed, that everything in Python is basically an object of something or the other. For mutable objects, it is basically an object, the state of which can be modified or changed. As I also called states. So earlier it is containing A, now it is containing A and B. So the state has changed. State of L has changed from containing only A to containing A and B. Similar is also true for dictionary and set. We will be discussing that later, which are also mutable data types. But immutable data types, such as all the numerical identifiers, numerical values, numerical variables that we have discussed, strings, as well as tuple, which is also a sequence data type, they are immutable. That means an object of this type of immutable data types, the state of which cannot be changed. As we have looked at here, we cannot actually change the state. Here, S1 is, the state of S1 is basically a string in Python. We cannot change it because it is immutable. Any question? Okay. Now the next operation or manipulation operation on list is concatenation and repetition, which we kind of already seen in during discussion on strings as well, which is again similar in lists as well. So for concatenation of two lists, we can use the plus or addition operator. So here prime list is containing 237. If we want to add, sorry, it is containing 235. If we want to append the items 7, 11, 13, we can just use this concatenation operator here. Note that this operator is not working as a summation operator. Here, as the two operands are list, this is working as a concatenation operator. And the repetition operator, similar to string, this will be making a list of 3 items where individual items are all piece. So let's just try that. So let's say we have a prime list, say P, containing 2, 3, 5, and I want to do the same thing. I want to actually say I want to print P plus say the next 4 prime numbers, so 7, 11, 13, 17. So as you can see, altogether there are 7 items that are being printed. Now note that the existing list has not changed. If we want to change the existing list, what we need to do, I hope you can guess that, P plus say this 7, 11, 13, 17. Now there will be no immediate output, but if we print the list now, we will be printing this. So using, reassigning this, we can actually, actually change the item, change the existing list. Similarly for the star operator, which I am not, I guess it's intuitive. You can try that at your end. So basically, so this will be multiplying. So basically there will be 3 items having the same value or same state, that is piece. So this will be making one list containing 3 items. All of the items are piece containing in them. As I said, they are actually not changing the existing list. If we need to change them, we need to store them in another list. In this case, I am storing it in the same list. Now, another operation using, using which we can actually insert items in a list is called insert function. In this insert, if we want to add multiple items, while discussing on insert, we have discussed that we need to provide 2 parameters, the position at which we want to insert an item and the corresponding item. So they will be actually inserting only one item in this position, like this. So let's say we have a list, say primes containing 2, 3, 11. Now I want to insert 9 in between these two. So this is actually present in the 0th position, 1th position, 2th position. So I want to make another item. So I basically want to make this as I want to right shift this 11 and I want to insert 9 here, so that the final list will be 2, 3, 9, 11. So as we have seen, we can use the insert function. But what if we want to insert multiple items altogether? So again, slicing operator can be used here as well. So here we are actually adding only basically two items, but in the middle. So let's just look at this example. It will be a nice one. So let's again declare say p equals to 2, 3, and 11. Now using insert, of course. So let's print the list. And if I want to insert one item in the 2th location here, say 9, as I have discussed in the slide, it will be, actually I have executed it twice. Print p, it will be printing 2, 3, 9, and 11, right? Now I want to insert 5 and 7 in between these two. So what I can do is p, as I have said here, using the, so basically this is the location I want to insert, right? So p2 colon 2. So we have already seen that we can insert something like this here, or we can just simply, we can write this. But what if we want to insert multiple items? In that case, we want to use this slicing. In that case, we want to specify the list of items as well. So I want to insert say 5, 7. So this will be, so if I execute and if I print p, you can see earlier it was 2, 3, 9, 11. Now this 5 and 7 has been inserted in between this 9 and 11, right? So this way we can, of course, I mean, we can specify multiple items here. So now what if I want to insert say multiple random items, say I want to insert here in between 2 and 3 some gibberish items. So what we can do is 1, 1, because I want to insert here, I can specify a list of any gibberish item, whatever we want to insert. Let's stick to this, and let's, if I print the list here, as you can do, as you can see, ABC has been inserted in between 2 and 3. Okay. So a very important operation in list is count. Now, what if I want to check how many items, how many particular items I want to check in a list of marks? I want to check how many students have received, have obtained exactly 50. So for doing such kind of an operation, there is a function called count, which is a list function. So what we need to do is, we need to invoke the function, or we need to call the function using the name of the list. And then as a parameter, we need to specify the item that we want to check how many, the number of occurrences. Let's say we have this. So let's again declare another list, say L equals to say list. So it is containing say A, B, C, A, okay, it is containing 2 A's, 2 B, 2 C, and 1 D, and 1 D, E, and F. So if I print L, you can see A, B, C, A, D, C, B, E, F. Now, if I want to check, if I want to, sorry, if I want to check the number of occurrences of A, so what we need to do is the name of the list L dot count, in as a parameter I need to specify the item that I want to check. So it will be printing, or it will be returning the number of times this item has been present here. Now if I specify say B, it is again printing 2. If I specify say D, it is specifying A. If I specify say G, which is not present, as you can see, it is returning 0. So this is a very useful function that will be used later on for writing some actual problems. Now, one of the final major operation in a list is deletion. Now, deleting items from an existing list. Now, note that deletion of an item from an existing list is possible because it is mutable data types such as strings. In strings, we cannot actually remove individual characters, right? As we have seen, we cannot actually replace, or we cannot actually so for example, let's consider the string s1 is containing string. We cannot actually delete some part. We cannot actually remove some items from in between this string. But this is actually possible in list. And the reason is because it is mutable. Now there are multiple ways of removing items from list. Some of them is applicable for some application, and some of them is applicable for in some other situations. First, we will be discussing the application, the use of del keyword, which is a keyword in Python, using which we can actually delete existing items in a list. Let's consider we have this list. So the list is containing these prime numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 14, 15, and so on. Now note that I want to store prime numbers here, but accidentally I have put one non-prime number here, which is present in the fourth location 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I want to delete, I can actually use del keyword and specify the corresponding location, the index value with the corresponding list name. Now if I execute this, you can see this 9 has been removed. Now after deleting this item in the fourth location, I'm ending up with this list. Now note that this del operation is actually changing the existing list. Earlier, some of the operations that we have seen, like this, say, this concatenation or this star operation, what we have discussed, they were not actually changing the existing list. But here, del operation is actually modifying the existing list. It is actually deleting a single item which is stored in here, in this case, in the fourth location here. Of course, we can use the slicing operator here as well to delete multiple items. Now, what if I want to delete this 14, 15, and 16? They are stored in the location 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, and 8th location. So that's why I have specified 6:9. So this will be replacing these 3 items from this list. If I execute, as you can see, it has become 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17. 14, 15, 16 has been removed. And del function or del keyword, this is not actually a function. This del keyword can also be used to delete any existing variable. Note that any existing variable, not actually a list, not actually focused only on list. So this will be deleting the existence of primes from the memory. So if I have this in a separate cell, so this is executed, there is no immediate output. Now if I try to print primes, there will be an error, because this operation has made primes, I mean the existence of primes has been removed from the memory. So this has this del keyword has removed the the presence of primes from the virtual memory of this Python kernel. So that's why it is actually printing this primes is not defined, because I have deleted these primes. Now note that, as I have said, this del can also be used to delete any other variables as well. If I declare say equals to 5 and then say print a, of course it will be printing 5. Now if I apply del a, and now if I want to print a, it will be an error, because this operation has removed the a from the memory. So the use of del to remove an item from a list is not actually focused only on list. We can actually delete or remove any variable, the existence of any variable. It can be integer, it can be string, it can be float, it can be dictionary, it can be lists as well, using this del keyword. Again, this is a Python keyword, del. So the keywords that we have discussed, the set of keywords around 37. Among them, there is this is a function. This is the application of the keyword del. The second way is using remove function. For removing, what we need to do is we need to specify the element that we want to remove from the list as a parameter, right? So this is the syntax. We need to specify the name of the list from which we want to remove and the item which we want to remove from this list. And let's just look at the example. So here I have initialized again the same list. Now this will be removing the 9 from this list. Now if I execute this, so let's just break it up. So now if I print primes, it is containing these. Now this statement will be removing this 9. As you can see, the resulting list is not containing this 9 here. So 7, 11. So again, another thing to point here is this remove function is actually changing the existing list. So it is actually deleting an item from an existing list. Now let's look at some special cases. What if I want to remove an item which is present multiple times in the list? So at present, this primes is these values. Let's add some further values with it as well. Say append. So let's include say 5. So print primes, it will be this. Then after 17, there will be another 5, right? Because I have appended 5, which will be adding 5 at the end. Now, what if I want to remove? I mean, what if I want to remove? What if I call the remove function specifying 5 as the parameter? Of course, it will be performed okay, but what will be the output? It will be basically printing. It will basically removing the first 5. So as you can see, this 5 has been removed, but the latter 5s are not removed. That is, the remove function will be removing the first occurrence. Now, if you want to remove the, say, you need to apply some other mechanism, which will be discussed in a couple of minutes. Now, the next thing to check is, what if we want to delete an item which does not exist in the list? What if I want to remove say 10? Now, if I execute this, it will be an error. It will be a value error. So as you can see, X is not in the list. So this will be, this is basically called throwing of an exception. This is an exceptional case. This will be discussed, or how this kind of a situation can be handled. This will be discussed while when we will be discussing exception handling, which is a very important topic. So at that time we will be discussing how to handle this kind of. So for example, you have a list, you don't know what items are there, you just want to remove some items. So if you mistakenly call this remove function with a parameter which is non-existing, it will be giving you a value error and the program may stop. So that's why we need to handle this kind of situation. Those are formally called exception handling. This will be discussed later on. Now let's look at a situation or a practical application where we need to remove multiple items or multiple occurrence of the same item using the remove function. Generate a list of random integers, say from 1 to 10, and then remove all 5s from the list. Let's do that. Okay, so this we have already discussed. So let's first generate a list of random integer numbers. How can we do that? Say num, say no equals to. So first of all, we need to declare this import random. And then if I actually want to have a list of say 100 integers. So for I in range 100, first of all, we need to have a list, say no initialized as null, no dot append. What we need to do is we need to call the randint function from random dot randint randint. We need to specify the range. If I want to specify from 1 to 10, including them, it will be basically generating random integers in the range from 1 to 10. So this will be basically generating a random number, and as there is a loop here, it will be, let's make it a little bit longer. Say, let's make it say 50. So after executing this, if I print no, the list, it will be containing some random numbers which were initialized using this randint function. Now, what if I want to remove all the 5s from the list? So this list is containing some random integers. What if I want to remove all the 5s? This 5, this 5, this 5, and all. We have already discussed that remove will be, I mean, if I call no dot remove 5, it will be only removing the first 5, right? But what if I want to remove all the 5s? There are basically two ways. I mean, there are multiple ways. We will be discussing two ways here, both of them using while loop. There are 8 5s in this list. In this list, there are 8 5s. Now, what we can do is we can use the while loop. So basically, what we'll be doing is we'll be every time we will be calling the count function with the 5 and we'll be removing them. So while no dot count of 5 is greater than 0, that is whenever, so greater than 0 means there is at least one 5 in this list. What I will be doing is I will be calling the remove function. So after that, if I print no, as you can see, there are no 5s. So altogether 8 5s are being removed from this list. This is using the while loop together with this count function. So what I am doing is calling the count function with the list name. I'm checking whether the list is containing at least one 5 or not, right? If it is at least one 5, this will be true, because at the boundary case it will be 1. When there is only 5 so in that case it will be 1, so 1 is greater than 0, so I'll be removing that 5, and after that this NO will not be having any 5. So that's why this condition will be becoming false and the execution will be coming out of this while loop. So from the beginning it will be, in the beginning it is 8, then after one removal it is 7, then after another removal it is 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, 2, 1, then 0, then the execution will be coming out of this while loop. Now another way of doing that is using while loop together with the membership operator in. So this is the way. So there is a similarity of this with the for loop, the use of for loop. Yes, you want to ask something, someone? No, okay. So let's say I want to remove all the 8s. Let's check how many 8s are there. So there are 5 8s. So I want to remove all the 8s from this list. What I need to do is while 8 in NO, that is the name of the list, I will be calling NO dot remove 8. Then print NO. So, and it will be, as you can see, there is no 8 present in this list. So these are the 2 ways. As I said, there are other ways as well, like using pop, using clear, and using a slicing operator, which we will be discussing tomorrow. Okay, any question up to this?